Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Buck Chuckets and Piglins server. I'm Mr. McSquare. Today I've built two massive engines. You can see them just spinning behind me because I want to use these engines and build a big old airship. So that's the final result of what today's build is. And stick around and I'll show you how I put this sucker together. Oh, they're so good. So good. So, the first thing I do with all my builds is I start with selecting what's my idea and where do I want to build it. So here I am, up on top of a bit of a cloud farm that's spawn. I look down at my base. That's my base there with the boats and the warehouses. And I built that platform over there. I knew I wanted to build a big old airship, and it needed a staging area, and this was going to be it. That's a whole lot of glazed terracotta that I've got put together for just a nice little design in a big flat area, and we're going to build the airship here. This is my hippodrome. Anyway, yeah, so it's a bit of a long video, but we'll take you through the whole thought process. So the first thing I did was I decided I wanted an engine there, an engine over here. That line in the middle is the middle, and then there'll be a big balloon area above it. So with the fans and the fan mechanic to make it work, it takes a total of 5 blocks. The front block plus 4 more behind it. Well, it actually takes more than that. But from where I start, and thanks to Jake Keldon and Mumble Jumbo and everybody else who's made videos about fans, because I figured this out on my own, I wouldn't have done it. So we start off with the 8 base observers. And this is all about sending out a timed pulse to a whole bunch of trapdoors in a specific sequence. And we're going to build around that core 8 observer block. The center is not going to be part of it, so we're going to have like a center spoke area. You saw at the beginning that the fans rotated around an axis. And counting it out, it's 4 deep. So the front line and then 4. So 5 total actually. And then there's some blocks that even come behind that. So the scaffolding, which is a survival player's freaking greatest helpful tool in my mind. The scaffolding is what I use just to count everything out and measure it. So those faces are facing to the rear, and their signals, the red dots, that'll be the front. And now facing to the front, I have to put 2 more observers here and here. And the blocks that were in front of it, we can get rid of those. Like so, and the one below it as well. Okay, again, this is not my creation as far as a moving fan, but it is my creation that we're going to turn those fans into the blades of a big old jet engine for an intake. It's my idea on how to use those fans. Okay, ensure that the facing of all the observers, it matters. Okay? Like that is the wrong way. And I actually have to have the face facing the back. I'll correct that in just a few minutes. Okay, on the other side as well. I'll link a really good tutorial from the guy that I got this tutorial from on how to build the fan. And that's going to save me a whole bunch of jibber jabbering. And then you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the build process. Keep in mind, again, if you're watching and following along, it's scaffolding everywhere, which direction all the observers that are placed face. It's going to face to the rear and send its signal forward. Okay, scaffolding a little closer, so let's put out some more scaffolding. Like so. Okay, and like I said, that observer there, you see the one going backwards is correct, the one facing forwards, that's wrong. The bed's over here, looking back to the last thing you want is a creeper to make you go backwards on your building progress. Yes, adjusting and observe this guy. Some more scaffolding, why not? Okay, the observer faces to the rear, like so. Okay, that is the key part of the timing mechanism, so that when we turn it on, diagonal opposite corners will activate at the same time. This end result will be 2 fan blades rotating instead of 1. If you just put it together, it'll be a single fan blade. The timing mechanism behind it makes it 2 fan blades. Now, it's actually a pain in the butt to do this part, but it's still worth it. So, for the timing mechanism, we need a signal pathway. To do that, we're going to have to run a repeater line down the middle. Now later on in the video I correct a mistake I made, which is the repeaters I put down this center line are supposed to be 2-tick repeaters, and I accidentally set them to 3 ticks. So it'll be 2 pieces of redstone and then 4 repeaters. But I set the repeaters wrong at first, and I fix it later off camera. So keep in mind that if you're copying this, the repeaters that go on this line right here that I'm building right now are supposed to be 2-tick repeaters. And change neck to day. Oops. See, all the guys on the tutorials, they always do it in creative mode because they don't have to worry about gravity getting in the way or creepers showing up and blowing them up. But I'm building on a realm, and realms don't have that safety feature in mind. When I play on hard mode, it never comes off. But I like the extra challenge. So yes, 4 repeaters facing towards the right with their backs to the left. Now, here's the mistake. Those, I just put 3. It's supposed to be 2. 2 will give the band pattern a much cleaner look. And I do fix that later, but not until the end of the video. So if you're following along at this point, the repeaters are 2-tick repeaters, not 3-tick repeaters. And there's also 4 repeaters here. These ones, however, have the backs to the right and the fronts to the left. Again, make these 2-tick repeaters, not 3 ticks. Then you won't have to fix it later like I do. I'm not perfect, but you know I'm not cheating. Okay. So this will be the control switch, the on-off switch. Piece of glass with an L on both sides. Okay, let's go up a different piece of scaffolding. Get a little pull. Scaffolding everywhere, man. Get used to it. Get used to it. Scaffold, scaffold, scaffold. Even take a break partway through just to clean some of those up. Okay, so there's the L on one side and an L on the other side. Okay, redstone dust only on 3 pieces of it because an observer goes facing to the rear in between. So there's the on-off switch. And then repeaters. Sorry, not repeaters, observers. And again, this is so that the opposite corners will turn on at the same time, giving you 2 moving blades instead of 1. If you don't do this section, the timing section, you'll only have a single blade flipping around, which if that's what you want, great, but I want 2, and I want them on opposite sides. And this is what another YouTuber figured out that I had to do it, and I'm copying it, and it works. Let's get 1 step closer, just a little bit. One piece of step up closer. There we go. Nice. If you make a mistake on this build, it's going to be on that timing circuit. Okay. Now from the core 8 observers, extend 1 observer in the middle of each side. So like it's a 3x3 square with 8 observers total. And then in the middle of the left, in the middle of the right, in the middle of the top, in the middle of the bottom, just have 1 observer facing to the middle. And try not to fall down the scaffolding as many times as I can. Okay. So this is the top with the observer facing down. The red light is its bum facing backwards. There we go. Faces inwards. The red light bum is out. And then same thing over here. Like so. Alright, so this will send the pulse going clockwise around. As you can see, the pulses are moving clockwise. So, working clockwise, starting from the top. Oh, yes, and the circuit starter is going to require just an on-off switch, which we're going to interrupt the signal with just a piston and a block. Sticky piston, actually. Okay. I just broke the line to shut the signal off. Sticky piston will go here. Take 1 block to the step. Because the 1 block extended will interrupt when it gets going. If you used glass or something like that, it wouldn't interrupt, but it's a solid block, will. Alright, so there's the on-off switch, flip it on, and then, well, that breaks the signal and that lets the circuit run. And because opposite diagonals initiated at the same time, it should have 2 blades. You should see 2 lights going around. Yep, look, 2 lights going clockwise. Perfect. Or 2 sets of lights. Noise. Okay, so the circuit is running as intended. And then we just have to put the face on the circuit. And so working clockwise, because we want it to be a 5x5 fan, we're just extending what the observers see. So essentially the observer sees the pulse and repeats the pulse. And the link I put in the description really explains it well on what direction to put these guys. But they're basically going clockwise, looking at the signal. The signal is moving clockwise, you're looking at it come into each of the four quadrants. Then the top. Both of these look down. And that's it. That completes the circuit. So now that that's done, we put the front face on, which is just observers that are watching that pulse go by. And when they watch the pulse go by, they send a pulse in the direction that we want, which is going to be towards a bunch of trapdoors that are going to look like a fan blade. Whole lot of observers. This is not a build if you're just starting your world. It's for once you've got all your resources cooking. Let's get rid of some of the scaffolding and then have a look. Okay. Okay, the pattern is not quite right, but like I said, the repeaters are off by 1 tick. So I'll fix that shortly. But we'll get right to the part where we'll continue on with the build, and then we'll do the troubleshooting at the end. So I'm using black concrete for the background, which will contrast with pale oak the most, black and white. Now these observers are 3-tick observers. That'd be set to 3. The ones in the middle set to 2, the ones on the face set to 3. Silly me, I put them both on 3. I will fix it. And then you just keep going row by row. Okay. And you have to stagger them so that the repeaters have some place to stand. You can't put a repeater on a repeater's head. Oops, wrong direction. There we go. And again, these get set to 3. There's nothing in the center. That's going to be an axis, an axle. So it starts at 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, come on. 3. Okay. We'll put a center axle here and put a lodestone on the end because I just like the end pattern design of the lodestone with the circle. Oop, that's too close. It's got to be out farther by 1. There we go. Like I said, we build in survival mode, not creative. No cheats, no Lightomatica. Actually do it. Yes, Lightomatica is cheating. Just because everyone's gotten used to it doesn't mean it's not cheating. That's also why I played Bedrock and not Java, because Java is modcraft. Everyone who plays Java knows what I mean. And to each their own, but that's not my game. I like to play the game, not your modern version. That being said, I do use the Minecraft movie mod, and that's it. I don't hate mods, but I've just had experience where people have used them. It was not a good experience. Okay, we'll put this back when it's not in the way. So these are temporary blocks to build it, because I need to get trapdoors in position. Okay, these are actually for one line below. And again, when I make final adjustments, I adjust the position of where the trapdoors are, if they're at the tops or the bottoms of a block. But the important thing for now is just get one trapdoor on every block. That's all it is. You can see there, that guy there, he has no pulse going to him. The one below it does. So this guy is not required on the other side. Trapdoor. And then 3 repeaters, you can see that they're firing in sequence because of their 3 tick delay. They're not going all at once at warp speed. And when I replace the temporary blocks with repeaters, these 5 trapdoors will activate. Those were just in place, so that was easier to place the trapdoors. Okay, and repeaters. Again, all these repeaters get set to 3 ticks. Because if it was at 0 ticks, all the trapdoors would move basically at the same time. You couldn't see a difference. You just need that visual pause so you can see a circle forming. And while I'm doing this, feel free to smash the buttons and help me out. But really, I just appreciate that if you're still watching 20 minutes into a video, you're awesome. Thank you for your support. And I hope that you find this entertaining, maybe a little bit educational. Okay. It looks like everything's chaotic and random, but just wait till the whole circuit's done. Okay. So oh, that's off by 1. That is not deep enough. We'll have to adjust that in a moment. Yeah, that row's wrong. See, I'm standing at the front, and the trapdoors below are at a different level than these ones. But I mentioned I don't cheat and I play on survival mode. Okay, everything's got to come out 1 here. And technically, the repeaters are a bit exposed, but really, once you step away from this and put like a framing blocks around it, you won't even notice the repeaters at all. The end result is awesome, and that's why I'm using what people have come up with, because it's real good. Okay, there's trapdoors flip-flopping. And now I gotta bring that row at the top forward 1. That's backwards. That's no good. just gonna have to shut those things off. It'll be easier with them turned off. That on-off switch is definitely staying as part of the build. I have to put an engine room on the back of these things. Okay, and easier to make adjustments when they're all standing still. Okay. There's a tractor on all of them. That one is a little bit low. I'll bring it up later. Bounce allows us to place trapdoors where we need them. Good old scaffolding. Oh, that's facing the wrong way. That's facing the right way. That guy, we gotta change him. And yeah, more scaffolding. Scaffolding. Oh, come on. And then we'll put a pale trapdoor right there. And take out the temporary blocks. And more 3-tick repeaters. Also easier to adjust the ticks when the thing's not fired. The last row is only 3. 3 ticks. That'll send the pulse out. To the last row of trapdoors. Alright, let's fire it up and take a look. Looking for 2 blades, move it clockwise. Okay, there, you can see 2 moving clockwise. The timing is just a hair off, and that's because the timing repeaters are set to 3 ticks right now. I'll adjust them to 2 ticks, but that is the fan portion done. It's built. That's it. All that's left now is decorating. You gotta make it look pretty. Now, movement in Minecraft by itself is special, but there. Okay, you can see we used iron blocks around the frame of the blades, right? And that looks much cleaner. And even though that's white and like the silvery color of the iron, it blends. I filled in the gaps that don't interfere with the redstone with some dark oak blocks. And I'm just gonna house this whole thing in slabs, stairs, and bookshelves that are dark oak. And I'm using the slabs and the bookshelves and the stairs because I don't want a big full square sticking out. I just want it to be a subtle extension from the face. So the face is framed in iron blocks, and then you can see we're just doing the minimum size block that goes around. And then on the sides, the minimum size block for wood anyway is bookshop, which takes a lot of resources to make these, but I've got lots of resources. So yeah, that'll be it, and then we'll just have to repeat it on all the sides and from the front to the back. So there's really three components to this. There's the face for the decoration portion. There's the face that we keep open so that you can see the blades turning. Then there's the tubular body of the engine. And then at the end of the tube we'll add exhaust jet. So that's the big intake fan. There's the engine room with a ladder to access the on-off switch. And of course I repeated it on both sides. And then out the back of the engines, we're going to add the exhaust. For the exhaust, I used polished deep slate with magma blocks to simulate the internal fire that's burning in the thrust. There we go. Now, technically, this airship will be parked, so the engines are blasting full blast, but they are ready to go for when it's time to take off. And those are my giant engines. Like I said, final adjustments I had to make was changing the repeaters down the timing apparatus from 3 ticks to 2 ticks. I also moved the access port for the engine room just over 1 block so that when I build a superstructure, I can build the superstructure attached to the engine and it won't interfere with my access door. Super good. Super happy with the way this turned out. And I built both of these things because I had ample resources. I was able to build both these things in just a couple hours. Nice. They both run it. And they both got exhaust. Nothing happening there, but I like the effect of using stairs to give the rear areas circles, or as circular as possible. And you can see both the intakes have 2 fans running clockwise. And those are my engines. Oh, we're gonna end it here because that was half an hour just to get the engines done. I still gotta do the balloon and the body of the ship. Till next time, bye bye.